Good morning and welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph and I save 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. Today, I want to go a little bit into the future of my stack, the hopes and dreams of what this gold stack is going to be growing into in the future. So let me go ahead and set this up how my brain organizes gold, and we'll get through all of it and talk about where I want this stack to be in the future. While I reorganize these piles of gold, let me just clue you in on what I'm looking at right now when it comes to gold. Gold just broke over $4,200 yesterday again, and it seems like it might be holding its own there. It might stay over $4,200 this time. So I do believe that gold is going to continue to be going up. Now, very quickly, probably not. It's probably going to have a slow, steady climb, which is exactly what we want from gold. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Before I get too far in the video, I do want to give a shout out to Emmanuel and Fateful Shirt for being the first comment on the last two videos. Y'all are always so eager to jump in the comments, and I really do appreciate the support. So it might look just as messy as before, but I did organize these into piles. Here we have 24 karat modern bullion, 22 karat modern bullion. Up here is the generics that we have of also modern stuff, and then older circulated gold. These are the four categories that my brain organizes gold into, and let's go ahead and talk about each section and what I want to do with each one. For the 22 karat gold, we're going to look at this quarter eagle. Sorry, I've got some weird camera stuff going on. Just bear with me here for a moment. Well, I'll just go ahead and continue. Anyway, with this modern bullion, you'll see that these are what are considered coins. They're made by a country. This one in particular is made by the United States, and we'll see on the back side here, it does say United States of America. It is, hold on, let me point at it for you. United States of America, right here on the top. Then we will also see a denomination. This one is $10, and how much gold it is. This is a total of a quarter ounce of gold. So even though this is 22 karat, it contains a quarter ounce of gold. That is what makes something a coin, that it is denominated, is made by a country. So here let's look at a few other countries. This is South Africa. South Africa was actually the first country to make these modern bullion coins in the ounce format. In this case, they actually chose to go with the Kruger Rand. That is actually a new denomination to South Africa when they made these coins. Again, it shows the purity and amount of gold on the bottom. So this one is also 22 karat, but still contains 1/10 ounce of pure gold. And in coins, we also have 24 karat. This is one from Australia. It's made at the Perth Mint. It does have the country, a denomination, and the amount of gold in it. This one in particular is part of my dragon collection. This is the lunar year. I'm not sure why it's called lunar, but it is the year of the dragon coin from 2024. I just love how these dragons look on coins. Anyway, this is a 4 nines fine, or 99.99% gold coin. That means it is 24 karat gold. So these 24 karat gold coins do come in a lot of different variations. I also have this American gold buffalo. The gold buffalo in 24 karat or 4 nines fine only is made in the 1 ounce size. For 1 year, they did make all the fractional sizes, the 10th ounce, quarter ounce, and half ounce. But as of right now, they're only made in the 1 ounce size. So I'm super happy to have this one in my collection. And maybe someday I'll have the fractional sizes as well. So those are the different alloys that are used. Let's see, I'll get all the different ones right here. We have 24 karat from Australia and 22 karat in America and South Africa. Something to note is that the 22 karat is actually different from each other. You can see in the color how the 24 karat is very yellow. The American Eagle is a little bit yellow, and then the South African Krugerrand is a little bit more of that coppery look, the rose gold. You can see it a little bit easier in the 1 ounce size, but that is because American Eagles also contain 3% silver. So the little bit of the silver keeps it away from that kind of pinkish color. And I think it's really awesome that you can actually see the alloy in the color itself. Of course, in person, the colors are a lot more dramatic, but we're doing our best with this video that we can do at the moment. So that is the coins portion. Let's go ahead and move on to generic gold. So generic gold is typically found in these assays, or really just these plastic containers that helps show the information of this bar or coin. Oh goodness, the camera again. So in this case, this is a 1 gram gold bar, and you'll see that this assay helps provide that information and makes the bar a little bit bigger so that you won't lose it as easily. If these bars were loose, they'd be incredibly small, and the assay helps you be able to find them, really. But overall, they're there for protection, and they're there to help provide information. So this is the 1 gram gold bar. In the back here, I do have a few different forms of generic gold. Let's see, these are generic rounds. This one specifically is a 1/100th of an ounce of gold. And as you can see, if it wasn't in this capsule, it would be incredibly small. Now, generic gold doesn't have to be small. I do have a 5 gram bar that I'll show in a little bit. But because it is, you can see that this capsule is what acts kind of as the assay in order to help me find it. This right here is another gold bar, but this is 1/8 of a grain. You see here it has the purity and the amount of gold that's in it. Because this is so incredibly small, that assay is actually almost required to really see how much gold this is. In addition, look at how easily this tiny thing would get lost. Right now, this is actually about $1 worth of gold, so I do find it really, really interesting. I happen to have won this in a giveaway on Whatnot. I would definitely not spend the premium that these kinds of things actually have. So that's an interesting piece of gold, 1/8 of a grain. But it is a nice fractional gold that if I do end up having to spend gold, that would be an option. Speaking of spending gold, gold backs are a really good option when you're trying to get into a much more divisible gold. And what I mean by divisible is just way smaller options. This right here is a 2/1000th of a troy ounce, so it does contain about $2 worth of gold. But with the exchange rate, it's actually double than that. These are actually considered currency at some shops, and even some shops local to where I am now. That could be a lot more prevalent later. For now, we'll go ahead and move on to the circulated gold. Right here, I have a 4 ducat. This one was made from Australia. Austria. Austria made this 4 ducat and a 1 ducat version. This one, I love how big it is just because of how thin the coin actually is. So these coins are really, really exciting. This one is actually 98.6% pure. It's the purest gold that was, circulating around that time. This one is dated 1915. They do make these restrikes, so it's hard to tell when it was actually made. But even in 1915, they were able to make gold that pure. Next up, we have some 90% gold. So here I have some American gold. This is a quarter eagle, a $2.50 coin, and a $1 coin. So in America, they made $1, $2.50, $5, $10, and $20 coins. Someday I hope to get a little bit of each and make a little bit of a typeset of each denomination. So each of these have multiple different types in their series, and that could be a completely other video just on these specific coins. But these are called pre-33. In 1933, the United States made it illegal to own gold. Right, they made it illegal to own their own currency, which is incredibly... I'm not sure what the word would fit right there, but let's just continue. Pre-33 gold is a really, really good option, and it kind of goes along with this 90% gold theme. Here we have the Mexican pesos. So this is almost exactly like a pre-33 gold. However, just the denominations are doubled. Right here we have a 5 peso, a 2.5 peso, and a 2 peso. The 2 pesos is almost the exact amount of gold as a $1, which means that the 5 peso is almost exactly the same amount of gold as the $2.50. In pesos, we do have this 2.5 peso size, but there's also a 10 peso, a 20 peso, and actually a 50 peso coin. So those are super, super exciting to have. And there are other 90% golds. But for now, let's go on to this quarter sovereign. A sovereign was a 22 karat circulated coin made by Great Britain. They have the old circulated ones, and this is actually a modern commemorative one to commemorate Princess Diana. I love this coin. This is actually my wife's coin. She picked this one out, and just because I love seeing Princess Diana on a coin, I actually enjoyed picking this up for my wife. And this is the only, I guess, non-bullion, non-modern bullion, meaning fitting into a specific weight of ounces that I have that is 22 karat. A quarter sovereign is made to weigh exactly 2 grams. So it is 2 grams of 22 karat, making it something like 1.8 grams of pure gold. So that's what I have now. Let's go ahead and talk about my hopes and dreams for the future. So I have here this $50 tube, and I found out that these airtight capsules actually fit very, very well in this tube. So my goal is to stack 9 of them. Here I have the 2 types of American Eagles, and then a Krugerrand. So that would be the different types that I have for my 1/10 ounce size in 22 karat. I'll go ahead and just fill this up with the rest of them. So I do have this 1/4 ounce. I will be getting more 1/4 ounce gold soon, and I'll fit this other Krugerrand right on top of it. When it comes to 22 karat, I really want to make a bit of a typeset. This is a British Britannia. This is the silver version, but in the beginning of the series of these coins, they started with their coins in 22 karat and actually in Britannia silver, which is 96.8% silver. They later moved to 24 karat and 3/9 fine silver in 2013. However, if I can collect those older modern ones, that would be a huge, fantastic find and a great addition to my typeset of fractional gold. I'll just go ahead and put this one here so we can continue to see it. But that is the only other 22 karat modern bullion coin that I'd be able to get in the 10th ounce. So let's go ahead and move on to 24 karat. Here I have a Australian Perth Mint coin and the Mexican Libertads. This again is a silver version, but it is here to show you that this is the original design of the Libertads. These even were made in gold in this design and in the fractional size. The gold that they were made out of was 24 karat or the 3/9 fine gold that they are still currently made today. So again, another design change that could add to my typeset. Here I have the Australian gold coins. This, again, is the Lunar Dragon, but Australia did make a few other coins. They do have a koala series, a kangaroo series, and they have a kookaburra series. These are all the silver versions of the same coins, but all of these do exist in a fractional gold version. So it would be really cool to get a 10th ounce or a quarter ounce collection of all of these coins. Either that, or I could just be content with my one Australian gold coin, but I always like to aim for much, much bigger goals. So that's what my plan is for the Australian coins. We'll go ahead and throw this into my tube here. I have 7 coins so far in this little $50 tube. And like I said, it can hold 9. So as I slowly upgrade the size of each of these coins in here, I'll slowly be getting more and more gold. Of course, I said that my goal is to start stacking a quarter ounce every 3 months or a quarter year. So hopefully I'll end up with a lot more quarter ounce gold in the future. That is my plans for fractional gold. I'm really going to be going heavy into 1/10 ounce and 1/4 ounce sizes and trying to build a bit of a typeset and fill these little $50 tubes. You know, I almost forgot to mention Canadian maples. Canadian maples are a huge staple in gold, and I'm definitely going to be getting one in each size, quarter ounce, half ounce, the 10th ounce. Canadian maples actually even come in a 20th ounce, so that'll be very interesting too. Here are some honorable mentions. The Noah's Ark and the Austrian Philharmonics. I would absolutely love to have some of these in gold as well. Their gold comes in 24 karat, so it would add to that category. Let's go ahead and move these 1 ounce coins out of the way so I can stay nice and organized. All right, here we have the 5-gram bars. I really like this size of gold. It's 0.16 ounces of gold, and I really do find that this is kind of the perfect medium between the 10th ounce and the quarter ounce. So I might be stacking some more of these 5-gram bars, but right now I have exactly 31 grams, which I think is really awesome. I might buy 5 more 1-gram gold bars, and I really do love how this 25-gram sheet looks. Anyway, I might buy 5 more 1-gram bars and then go a little bit more into the 5-gram gold bars. Here I have some hyperfractional, less than a gram coins. They're pretty interesting, but I don't really see myself having any more of them. And when it comes to gold backs, I don't really have a specific goal. It would be pretty interesting to have at least a half and 1 gold back from each state that makes them, but I'm not really pushing too hard on that goal. We might end up with some more of them, but we also might not. And I already talked enough about this 1/8 grain. I don't think I'm going to end up with another one of those, but it's pretty cool. So now when we take a look at the circulated gold, I already did talk a little bit about building a bit of a typeset in these pre-33 American gold coins and also in the other 90% gold series. What I think I want to talk a little bit more about here is actually the 20 franc coins. I'm going to show you guys the 90% that I do have, but these 20 franc coins are really just any franc. They also made 10 franc and 50 franc. These were gold coins that were made between the 1860s and all the way up until World War I. There was a Latin monetary union. Please look this up. It's super, super cool, where a bunch of different countries came together and said, hey, we're going to make all of our currency exactly the same. They all had the same denomination and weight, and that was based around the francs in France. Definitely look it up. Super cool bit of history, kind of how the idea of a world currency came about. There's also this 4 ducat, They made 1 ducats, and even in the past, before this series, there was other designs to collect, so I may go out of my way to collect some of these. But other than that, there's also these sovereigns. I love the 22 karat old sovereigns. I don't have any at the moment, but this quarter sovereign kind of fills that gap for now. I do plan on buying some other older sovereigns, and that's just where my stack is going to go in this old circulated gold portion of my stack. Well, that is all of what I hope to do with gold in the future, and I hope that you guys are just as excited as I am to follow along and watch where this is all going to go. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you like the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button to like the video. And if you know anyone that might like content like this, please share the video, and definitely hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think, what things you're stacking, and what you are personally doing with gold at the moment. Thank you so much for watching, but that's going to be it for today. Just remember, every ounce adds up, so no matter how small, just keep stacking.